長官ユナイテッドエンパイア今日は試合があったそして彼がエンパイアの応援してくれるってよみんなブローキンテーブルポッドキャストよろしく
Camera's gone. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. I am your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here with our co-host, as always, King Rome. How you doing tonight, Rome?
You know, Jeff, there are times where everything just kind of goes your way and you're really feeling good and you're on a fucking roll and, you know, you sit down in a week and you watch the best wrestling company in pro wrestling and your baseball team is in the playoffs doing quite well. Your football team is undefeated. Your hockey team just started their season undefeated. You know what I mean? Like everything's going pretty damn good, I'd say.
Well, that is excellent. We had an absolutely amazing episode of Rampage here tonight, but I want to start off by talking about the Phillies with that awesome 9-1 win today at home. First home game in the playoffs for the Philadelphia Phillies in 11 years, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, I know that you're kind of you're a transplant, as they say. You know, you're new to the area, you're plugged into the area. But I can tell you that someone that's lived here his whole life, and I remember the World Championship in 09, 08, sorry. It's a special feeling, and I really, really missed playoff baseball. Today was fucking electric. I'm watching this game and I'm just like, man, I love it here. I really just love it here. To see people like-minded of passion, like the passion that we bring, like you can't beat it. It's just fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. That crowd was incredible there in Philly. What do you think of them doing the whole whoa and the chop, against the Braves there? I was like, oh, you guys are gonna jinx yourselves, knock this shit off.
No. When the Eagles beat the Vikings in the NFC game, they did the Foles or the skull chant, but it was Foles.
Okay.
I don't hate it. I do think it's a little odd to be doing the other team's chant because it kind of comes off like you're rooting the other team, but it's meant in a mocking way. So I'm cool with it. I mean, we were up 9-1 when they were doing it. Well, 8-1 when they were really doing it. But I mean, yeah, it was a really phenomenal. Oh man, especially that third inning with Reese, who's always he's so historically streaky, just very hot and cold. For him to get that home run, that 3-run home run, kind of busted it open. Bryce followed up with his home run, and it was just fucking excellent. The irony is not lost on me that Reese also kind of gave us some rough defense the next few innings. But I mean, I can't complain. We're one game away from making the end, the championship. Brain fart, the championship round. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the National League Championship.
Yeah, before the World Series. So yeah, I'm doing pretty damn great. We got Sunday night against Dallas coming up. So I mean, a weekend like this, kicking off with a great Rampage like this, is what you live for. And if you're a sports guy, if you're into sports, and especially here in Philly, it's when we talk about great crowds and like Philly's a great wrestling crowd. We just love this stuff here. It's like we live off of it. The energy around the city this week and like the last 2 weeks with the Phillies and the last month with the Eagles and It's phenomenal. Again, I love it. I love it. I thrive off it. It's like-minded, passion. I'm all about it.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome, man. So I'm gonna leave the camera on yours here for a little bit. I'm not sure what's going on with mine here, but let's go ahead and get started. We started the night off with Mox and Claudio versus the Butcher and the Blade. What'd you think of this match?
So I thought that this was a fun opener. They only went about 8 or 9 minutes here. So I thought that this was a great Rampage. Absolutely loved it. My biggest complaint was, and I'm sure you could guess, it was only an hour long. So I felt like the matches that we got needed more time to cook. This match being one of them. But I thought it was great. I thought it was really fun, really awesome. Love seeing Butcher and Blade on TV. Obviously, love Mox and Claudio. My favorite spot was they do a close up on Mox raking Blade's back. So he's just kind of like, just fucking digging in. And I thought that was,
Dude,
great.
the camera zoomed in, you could actually see the claw marks on his back, so you knew he was actually doing it. It was great.
Oh yeah, loved it. But so yeah, I mean, I thought that was a really fun opener. Again, it only went about 8 minutes. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more, but it's an hour of TV.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Post match, we got a Mox Claudio promo where they're basically saying that Hangman doesn't stand a chance. Hangman's watching from backstage, and we are setting up for what really is a huge Dynamite on Tuesday. It's not on Wednesday this week; it's on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's right. I was gonna mention that later on. When Orange Cassidy made sure everybody knew. So we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, so what's up, Ryan? Yeah, Ryan Davis in the chat saying, Rome, did you notice the entire show was an ROH show? Was this a pilot episode for a potential TV network that's interested? So,
Wow.
and I actually talk about it in my
point.
notes. So,
wow.
Yeah, I've been noticing this for a few weeks now, but Rampage has kind of become what I think Ring of Honor is going to look like. It's become a very Ring of Honor-esque show. We're going to talk about it when we get to the end of the main event because I have some thoughts about what happened after the main event. But basically, yeah, I do think that this right now. So we talk about these narratives that are pushed by the other side about problems AEW has, and a big thing going around this week was, there's too many championships. It's because they're trying to make Ring of Honor relevant so they can make their brand into a TV show. That is the idea. So yes, people can bitch about it. You are going to be seeing a lot of Ring of Honor. That's why they put the belt on Jericho. That's why he's, facing all these Ring of Honor names. That's why Dalton Castle and the boys have been on Elevation for the last 3 weeks, and why he's going to be wrestling on Dynamite, which is fucking awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
All those guys in the main event, I mean, not the Pinnacle, but like the Embassy and the Kingdom, which we'll get to, like these are all Ring of Honor guys. These guys are all going to be, in the Ring of Honor brand, and FTR is the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship, or champions. So yeah, I think, Ryan, you hit that nail on the head. That's what this is. This is Tony Khan is currently getting ready for Ring of Honor to get a TV deal. They're shopping it around. They have Jericho putting on excellent matches week in, week out. You have Warner Brother executives saying that they love wrestling and they want more wrestling. It's just, yeah, yes. To answer your question, yes, this is absolutely Ring of Honor getting ready to launch hopefully soon. I don't know when. I know that Tony Khan has said he's waiting for a good deal. He doesn't want to give Ring of Honor a shitty deal. He's playing the long game, which can be frustrating to. Not frustrating. It does give ammo to the people that hate on this product. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to be really appreciative of the Ring of Honor product once the show kicks off and you have all these established names day one. It's a luxury that AEW didn't have when they launched. I mean, obviously, Ring of Honor isn't launching from start, but you're going to have a Ring of Honor that, like, day one of TV has storylines ready to go, has championship reigns ready to go. Like, what Tony Khan is doing here, while it may not lead to, Jeff's back, it may not lead to the best product overall, it's building blocks for Ring of Honor succeeding and thriving alongside AEW.
Yeah. And dude, I honestly enjoyed this Rampage a lot. Dalton Castle coming out to confront Jericho, which happens in a little bit, like I lost my shit. I was giggling, like I fucking loved it.
Yeah, like
Um,
to your point, a taped Rampage had me pop like
yeah,
multiple times tonight.
yeah,
I
for real.
literally popped on a taped Rampage, and I have to give them credit. That's something that I don't think I've ever done.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So where did you leave off there? I was fixing the camera.
So basically, we wrapped up with segment one, including the after-match promo. So we're
Okay.
on to
Yep.
the
Yep.
second.
I really enjoyed how Mox kind of handed the mic to Claudio, and he was like, "Step up or get stepped on, son." That was pretty cool. All right, so next up, we had a backstage segment with Renee Paquette. She was there with Swerve and Keith Lee, Swerve in our glory. Sneaky Swerve, man. He's obviously playing a heel. You were 100% correct for anybody that is still wondering. Um,
Mhm.
I enjoy the little dissension in the team that they got going here with Keith Lee being like, dude, since when do we need to cheat? You know what I mean? Um, I thought this was great.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this team is clearly leading to an implosion.
Ooh, that match.
I enjoyed Keith kind of saying like you're swerving into the wrong lane.
Yeah, that was so good.
Um, had a little bit of Twitter fuel to the fire at it after this segment. Tony Khan tweeted about it saying like, thank you to everyone watching Rampage. Like Swerve and Keith just kind of gave Swerve some like tough love or something like that, and Swerve was like, damn, I guess everybody's against me, and then Keith Lee was like, nah, man, I love you, man. I believe in you, and you need it right now, and
Oh man.
yeah, so they're leading towards an implosion, and that's going to be a really cool rivalry. It's going to be great to see Swerve as a heel. I mean, you're already seeing it, but yeah, I'm excited. And you know what? I think Swerve is probably sitting there right now, seeing Hit Row get squashed on SmackDown. He's probably like, I think he's like I'm not a Triple H guy, so I'm not going back anyway. But like, he's probably like, damn, that sucks. The
I
thing
got
just got back, and they're getting squashed.
I gotta say the way he said he's the best acquisition by AEW, I agree with that. You know what I mean? Dude's incredible.
Yeah, I mean he's got to be careful because like that field it could be getting a little full. I mean,
Yeah.
if Bandito does sign, that's a really good pickup too. But yeah,
Oh, I
Swerve
know.
is 2022. It's definitely a fair thing to say.
Yeah, Bandito's about to get paid. I'll tell you that much.
Mm.
All right, so next up, we had a backstage segment with the Dark Order, and we got assistant Jose, coming up and talking shit again and getting in Ten's face. And essentially, we're going to have a match next week, Roosh versus Ten. I'm not sure what it's going to be for. I guess just to leave him alone. There's got to be another stipulation that they're going to throw in, something like he has to join them.
I don't
Is what
know.
I'm guessing might happen, but it didn't seem like it. But
Yeah, so I feel like that's where they're going with it.
same, yeah.
I was watching this segment and I noticed that Ten is growing a gnarly beard under that mask.
Oh yeah, he's been doing that for a little bit. I've noticed it.
Yeah. But I thought that this was kind of leading up to Ten leaving the Dark Order. However, no, I'm not so sure based off how this segment ended. Jeff, why don't you let us know how this segment ended?
So as they put the claws in, an extra claw showed up, and it wound up being Stu motherfucking Grayson. I that was one of my pops for tonight. I was like, oh shit, it's Stu. So that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've been very hard on the Dark Order historically. It's well documented here on the Broken Tables podcast. But man, I do really love Stu, as I said when he first left. And yeah, it's really fucking cool that Stu's back. That was pretty dope.
Yeah, he's a really likable guy, you know what I mean?
He's a great wrestler. He's just a phenomenal wrestler.
Yeah, and I think what happened is, you were very down on the Dark Order, and so were some other people. And I think it was just he was a victim of the time of where the Dark Order was as a whole. They were like really, really almost hitting rock bottom as like a whole group, and he just happened to be the guy that it just kind of fell on. Like, all right, see ya. But I'm glad that they brought him back. I really am. He's a great in-ring wrestler.
Well, I think that he left because he wanted to be paid more than probably what Tony was offering him at first. However, for those that are just completely fucking ignorant, we are in the middle of or the beginning stages of a wrestling Cold War. So, you see Hunter signing all these guys. Hunter is going out of his way to sign pretty much anything that fucking walks. He's about to re-sign Eva Marie, for fuck's sake. Um, I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
I,
Um,
I I don't know. Like, was her tweet like legit? Like, it was just from her. I don't think WWE like retweeted it or anything. I'm like, is she just doing that or? Because please no, like, dude. All right, listen. The moment she shows up as part of the Wyatt Six, I'm done. Like,
Don't
done.
say that. It's not true, Jeff. You know I love you and I respect you, but you're a fucking mark.
No,
You're
no, I don't
going to
mean
watch.
done with like watching as a whole. I just mean with like the whole Wyatt thing. I'm already like on the verge. I'm like these people in costumes and but
Yeah, Okay, so here's the thing. I don't watch the pro. I try to keep myself educated via Reddit and Twitter. Reddit posts pretty decently quality clips. I don't. I do partake in those when I want to see something. And I don't know, man, between Twitter and what I saw with Bray tonight, I mean, like, he cut a really emotional promo, like, good for him. But I mean, so far, like, I don't think the costume thing looks really good with the Wyatt Six.
I'm
His
not.
music was really interesting to me because I don't know how I feel about it, whether it like works with Bray or not.
That's what I
Um,
was thinking. It was a decent song. Like it
it's
sounded
a
like
good
AFI
song.
if anyone, but
Yeah, I don't hate the song, but I just don't think it clicks for Bray. And then I didn't watch the segment yet on Reddit, but the segment sounded like, he decided to do a shoot instead and talk about, his hardships. And again, like, this is not, look, I'm a Bray Wyatt guy and I don't like WWE and I'm going to, I don't view them very positively to this day, regardless what people think. But I'm not going to sit here and shit on Bray Wyatt. I think the guy is extremely talented
oh
and,
yeah.
I hope everything works out for him. I mean, that being said, it seemed to me, based off what Twitter was saying, was he went over TV time and they cut him off with the logo or whatever. That's just what people were speculating. I
Yeah, it
can't.
did seem like that. They kind of cut him off with his own video, like him with the mask on started talking to himself, and it didn't actually sound like his voice. So that was a little weird. So he kind of got cut off by himself there.
Right. But anyway, the point I was trying to make is, honestly, I think if Stu's back and he's re-signed, it's probably because Tony Khan does not want Stu to get signed by WWE. I mean, that's just, and I think you're going to see that also with the debut that happens after the main event tonight. I don't think that the debut was great necessarily. I mean, I'm not like against the signing. I mean, clearly it's more for Ring of Honor. But I think that that's a move that Tony makes because he knows that Hunter is out there just signing up guys. Like that's just
Yeah,
one of
and
the.
Ryan said Bray crying in the ring was a bit of a turnoff. I actually agree 100%, Ryan. I was kind of like,
Yeah, again, like me reading it, like again, I don't want to shit on Bray, and I'm not going to shit on Bray.
no, his return was great, but his first
It
in-ring
just
promo for me
seems.
missed the mark.
See, my thing is that it's the ultimate, like this, like the way that Bray's debut his week is gone is exactly how I thought WWE was going to do it, in a sense that like it was just a tease all week. So Bray comes out at the end of the pay-per-view, has his return. Some people liked it, some people didn't. I thought it was a cool moment. I think you didn't like it as much. Am I correct on that?
I thought it was okay, but like I said, those people in the costumes kind of ruin it for me. It's just like, like, okay, 17 or 18-year-old me would have probably been like, that was cool. But now I was like, that looks like a bunch of Spirit Halloween costumes.
Okay, so yeah, so we agree on that. So like that's cool. And then Monday they tease him, and then they're like, he'll be on SmackDown. So then you get to SmackDown, and I'm on Twitter because like I'm coming off the high of the Phillies. I'm trying. I'm riding cloud nine, so
That
I'm
game
just
was
sitting
great.
there on my phone on Twitter, and I see Twitter keep saying like, "Oh, Bray Wyatt up next," and then like,
They did it like 4 times.
yeah, and then it's like, oh, well, it's not actually Bray next. It's this match, and then it's like, oh, it's Hit Row getting squashed. It's this, it's that, it's that. And then Bray ends the show with like 4 minutes left, and they don't really do anything with him. Like they let him speak, but like they don't set anything up for the future. And like I know we're talking about Rampage, but it just I don't know, man. I don't know. I think
Yeah,
I
like I said,
I
his
caution
return was cool. This missed the mark for me. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't know how he
But
got
that's
on there.
why Stu's back. Again, long story short, that's why Stu's back. Stu's probably back because
Yeah.
Tony was like, well, I like Stu, and I would like to have Stu here. And if I have to throw a little bit of money around, I'm going to do it, so I'll sign Stu.
And you never know. Maybe Stu shopped around and was like, damn, maybe I'm not going to get paid like I wanted to, so maybe I'll take the offer.
True. He didn't end up with anywhere. Like, he worked some indie dates, and even the indie dates he worked, they were all tagging with either Alan Angels or with Uno. So, I mean, yeah, I mean that's also you might be right on that. I mean, I didn't see him. He didn't end up in Impact. He didn't end up in NWA. The Fed didn't sign him before he came back. So I mean, he didn't do any Japan dates. He didn't do anything major. He just worked some indies.
And I would imagine Tony is the kind of guy that if he gives you an offer and you're kind of like, he's probably like, listen, it'll be on the table if you ever want to come back. You know what I mean? The same offer will be there. I bet you he's that kind of a guy.
Yeah.
But we never know. But, All right. Next up was the Jericho Appreciation Society with a really good in-ring promo here. Hey, Rome, do you want to know what makes Daddy Magic's nipples hard?
The fact that I was about to make the exact same joke.
That's awesome. The fact that the JAS is together forever. And I love... Yeah. I'm not sure if anybody got this, but I felt like they were doing the forever thing like the Sandlot. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that was pretty good.
Yeah, I think that was definitely the inspiration for that.
Yeah, that was awesome. So Garcia gets on the mic and he said a line that him turning on Jericho and then turning on Danielson, it didn't quite make a complete sense yet. But the way that he said, when Jericho hit me in the head with that belt, he taught me how to win. I was like, oh, there it is. He just completed like the circle of making that whole thing make sense. It was so perfect. And I really do think he solidified that he's not like gonna flip flop again. I think this is it. He's with them,
So basically for this segment, we seem to have very similar notes. I completely agree with you. I think that it was incredible. Again, it's just booking that makes sense. And like you're sitting here, before tonight and you're like, okay, well, Garcia turned, but then he didn't turn. He swerved us.
Mm-hmm.
Like that just seems kind of like, what are we doing here? The wheels are kind of spinning. And then he comes out and he says it like Danielson taught me what it meant to have heart and soul. But you know what? Jericho taught me something more important. He taught me how to win. And again, we talked about it last week with Danielson losing in other matches. It's very true. Danielson does not win a lot of important matches. He, and that's by his own choice. He just wants to put on great shows and put other guys over. But like that, like I thought that was just like, there you go. Bam. Perfect. That's the story being told here that, I think Garcia said it himself, he really did leave the JAS.
Yeah.
He did choose to side with Danielson. But the problem is he realized that like he wants to be a winner more than anything else. That's what's important to Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, I just thought this was excellent completion of the story. And for anybody that may have been like, that didn't make any sense, it has to make sense to you now. Like they put it right there for you. Boom. You know what I mean? So I absolutely loved this promo. Jericho gets back on the mic and starts to say he's the greatest Ring of Jericho champion of all time. And dude, when I heard that voice say boys, because there was no music yet, there was no nothing. You just heard Dalton Castle's voice say boys. Dude, I lost my shit, man. I was like, holy shit, no way. Because I completely forgot that he was a former champion and that we could get this match. Oh, I did not know how much I wanted to see Dalton Castle versus Chris Jericho. I can't wait.
Yeah, so yeah, I thought this was great. Dalton Castle comes out and gets a good reaction.
Christopher
calls Jericho a silly little goose.
Silly little goose.
and then the crowd starts chanting, "Silly little goose, silly little goose."
Oh, this was so
That was
good,
great.
dude.
I love Dalton Castle. I thought this was just such a great segment, and we're getting another Ring of Honor world title match. And again, just like we were talking about earlier, with Ryan, is that this is them getting Ring of Honor ready. Dalton Castle is going to have a match with Jericho, and Dalton Castle, even after Jericho drops that Ring of Honor title, Dalton Castle will be a mainstay on Ring of Honor television on a weekly basis. And
Yeah.
that's just, again, like he's going to go into the ring with Jericho, and I do expect this to be a great match. I think Dalton's an excellent worker. I think Jericho's kind of crazy to say, but I almost want to say Jericho's in the prime of his career.
It's crazy, man.
It's really kind of
Oh, it's
insane.
wild.
I was talking with Juhas in the Discord today, and we were talking about the goats, and I was saying like my heart says CM Punk still to this, regardless, but my brain really just screams Jericho. It's very hard not to argue Jericho as the goat. Like you're fighting an uphill battle.
I'm pretty sure there used to be a shirt that had a goat's body with Chris Jericho's face on it. I'm not sure if it was like an official E shirt, but I remember seeing it somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know if that does vaguely ring a bell.
Yeah. But Dalton Castle, I love when he said, I have the peacock power. I am the power of the peacock. I was just like, dude, this fucking guy. I love this dude. Yeah, I cannot wait. This is going to be on Dynamite, right?
Yep. Tuesday's Dynamite is loaded.
Yeah, they really want everybody to tune in and kick NXT's ass.
Yep.
All right, next up, we had Hikaru Shida versus Tony Storm. A nice video package for them on Tuesday as well, correct?
Yep, I think this is a really cool package, and I do really love, and I'm a big Shida fan, so there's some bias here, but I really do love Shida's presentation in her video packages. They do the red light, very kind of like a very edgy look to it, and I really love it. I really dig it. Shida is phenomenal. Huge
Oh,
Shida
absolutely,
fan.
Yeah.
Shida.
I think that red light is supposed to symbolize, like, the rising sun of Japan, kind of like their flag. I believe that's what they're doing.
Red is kind of her color anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, it's all around. It comes off looking great.
Yeah, very cool. All right, next up we had Nyla Rose versus Anna JAS for the somewhat kind of fake TBS championship. I really enjoyed how the ring announcer said Nyla Rose, who claims to be the TBS champion. That was great.
Yeah.
We had JR being like, she is the champ. You know what I mean? It was pretty funny. I actually enjoyed this.
Yeah, I think it's a really fun little story that we're getting here. It's something different for Jade, like we were talking about last Wednesday. This was a good match. Again, my biggest issue with it is I wish it would have cooked for a little bit more. Let him go another 5 minutes. I thought that the match would have been better for it. But this Rampage was just so packed with in-ring stuff that they just everything kind of was a little bit shorter. Which is super unfortunate. However, after the match, which Nyla Rose wins, I love that Vicky Guerrero has a 1-0 sign.
Oh, it was great. That was so good.
And she holds it up. And I'm just like it's like dollar store. It's dollar store Jade title ring.
It looked like she grabbed it from someone right out of the crowd. It was perfect.
I wonder if she did. If she did, that was. My hat is off. It's already off.
Yeah.
My hat is off to Vicky Guerrero for seeing that sign on the fly and just being like, I'm going to use this.
Yeah, because she didn't walk out with it. I'm wondering now. That's funny.
That makes it even more impressive that Vicky thought of that on the spot.
Yeah. So, of course, as they're celebrating, Jade comes down with the baddies, and with all of them dressed in black like that, they looked incredible coming down that walk ramp. Like, oh, that was incredible. Nyla had a bunch of security guards standing in the way. a couple of them didn't look like they could have stopped my grandma, but we'll just leave that as it is. And Jade kicks the shit out of all four of them. And during the scuffle and Jade kind of gloating over their lifeless bodies, Nyla Rose scurries off up the ramp and runs away.
Well,
This was great, man. I'm really I'm really glad they're doing something with this title rather than just having Jade beat somebody every single week like that. But I do have to mention one thing. So you said you wished the match had gone about 5 minutes longer. I wrote the exact opposite. I had wished that it would have been a little shorter. I want Nyla Rose to destroy a couple people first so that it's a good match with her and Jade kind of built up.
I get that. I just didn't want her to bury Anna Jay.
I gotcha.
I think Anna deserves a little bit better than that. So I didn't want to see her get
that does make sense.
Anna Jay hasn't wrestled much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that does make sense.
Argue that's why she would get squashed, but I just
Oh, that does make a lot of sense. Then you say it. So yeah.
In this company, we protect people. We make sure everybody everybody looks decent enough. You know what I mean? You have the weakest guy in the company, Serpentico, going out there having great matches with Brandon Cutler. You know what I mean? Like that's what we do here.
Dude, that match. Sure. I've watched that match like 4 times.
It was really good.
If you guys have not seen Serpentico versus Brandon Cutler on Elevation, right?
Yep.
It's on YouTube. It is free for any time. You can watch it 3 a.m. That match was incredible, dude. I can't believe I've watched it so many times.
And I'll do you one better. The next night, Brandon Cutler has a match with Kip Sabian on Dark.
That's right. You mentioned that. I still have not gone back and watched that yet.
If you need to, and I need you to tell me what you thought of it, because I loved this match.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be, yeah.
I'm sitting here watching Dark on Tuesday night, just casually. And I'm like, oh, Kip versus Brandon Cutler. That sounds fun. And I was like, oh, shit, this is a really good match. This is a really, really fun match on Dark.
Yeah, I got to see that.
And just so everyone is aware, Elevation and Dark next week are probably going to be very good episodes of those respective shows.
Yeah.
They were both taped. They were taped tonight and on Friday and on Wednesday. So you're gonna see, like, I know for a fact that Ricky Starks was in action.
Oh hell yeah!
On yesterday night. So Ricky wrestled last night. There was a few guys that I think Hook even wrestled last night. So you might even see Hook on Dark.
Oh, that's cool.
Don't quote me on that one, but I know for a fact Ricky Starks wrestled. So yeah, Elevation and Dark this week are probably going to be very good, and also that's the positive. We talk about them splitting up Dynamite and Rampage and doing 2 TV tapings a week. I mean, that could be a huge thing. Is like you start seeing Elevation and Dark quality go up because they do 2 hours of TV, but then what are you doing for the other 2 hours? Like you're not just going to do enhancement matches for 2 hours straight. Like no, you're going to have other matches. I think that elevates Monday, Elevation, unintended.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so next up we had a promo with Arya Daivari, basically saying that Hook tore up an envelope that didn't have a contract in it. It had a $50,000 in it. He was trying to buy the FTW championship belt. Now, I don't know if he was trying to buy it to be like, I'm the champion now, or if he just wanted it as like a piece of wrestling collectible memorabilia, because he's a millionaire. I don't know, but I guess now he's going to have a match with Hook and get his ass whooped.
Well, so we've talked about this, and I theorized that maybe like Ari Daivari and the Trustbusters are like low-key Tony Khan making fun of himself. Yeah. And like it would make a lot of sense. Like, oh, look at Tony Khan buying up Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, that's funny.
Buy the FTW championship again. Like, it's just a really funny parallel, and I don't know if it's intentional or not. But it does. I find it very entertaining.
It does actually make a lot of sense when you say that, to where Arya Daivari kind of like is Tony Khan in this story. Yeah. That's really good. I like it. So I gotta say here though, I don't think Hook is actually going to kick his ass. I think this is gonna be the first time we see Hook take a beating. I think it's time. He is over as he's gonna get, and I think we want to put some heat on these guys, and I think that would do it easily.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know if tonight's that night, but I mean, we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, honestly, I think the Trustbusters are actually a pretty good faction. I mean, I know they're kind of just doing the dark stuff and elevation stuff right now, and but I think that it's a really cool little faction that they have going there. I think everyone involved is really talented. I think the Jeeves SK is really funny and cool to an
Yeah,
extent. I think Slim J is just surprisingly very entertaining. Parker's great. Sonny's great. Just think it's a really smart group that Tony Khan threw together there. I think it's great.
absolutely. Question for you about Hook. Do you see Hook ever being Ring of Honor world champion? Like, a part of me wants to say he's too big for Ring of Honor, but a part of me says like him as Ring of Honor champion in a couple years would be fucking badass.
So I'm gonna say no. I don't think, and this is something that we need to be careful about with the stigma, because I don't think Tony Khan's always going to intend for it to be this way. But I don't think anybody is going to be too big for the Ring of Honor World Championship. I think that's important to note. I think that's why they gave the belt to Claudio and they gave the belt to Jericho. Like, yes, he's trying to get
Good
a
point.
TV deal. Like, the Ring of Honor World Championship, Tony Khan will treat these things with the respect that they deserve. He didn't just buy the tape library. Tony appreciates wrestling history and he appreciates Ring of Honor. So yeah, I think that I don't think Hook's going to go for the Ring of Honor World Championship though. I do think Hook's future does lie mainly in AEW proper. Um, so yeah, no,
That's
I
kind of
don't
what
think
I was
he's
getting
going to
at.
be the Ring of Honor champion, but it's not for the reason that you think.
No, I think that was exactly what I was kind of getting at. I feel like he's kind of AEW bound, pretty much.
Yeah. He's in that class of homegrown talent like the Acclaimed, and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yep.
that, where like he's going to be an AEW. That's in 5 years from now, 5 to 10 years from now, like that's that crop of guys that we're gonna see on top. Jack Perry, MJF, Darby Allin, fucking the Acclaimed, Hook. Just like that's going to be the crop. That's going to be the main event level talent, which it's going to be fucking wild. It's going to be really crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So next up, we got Ethan Page versus Isaiah Cassidy. Isaiah Cassidy was fighting for his contract for him and his brother with Private Party, and Matt Hardy's contract as well. Actually, this was a great match. What was that?
No, I didn't say anything.
Okay, yeah. This was a great match, man. Isaiah Cassidy like really opened my eyes here in this match. For he's good in a singles match as well as those tag matches, man.
Yeah, it was again my biggest problem with tonight, and I think this was the match that really suffered from it the most. Was this match was way too short for me. I thought Cassidy reminded us how talented he is. Like he was fucking
100%.
incredible in the very limited offense he got tonight. That springboard moonsault DDT, like that was incredible. Like I really appreciated stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I liked Paige working the heel here, being mocking Matt Hardy, doing the twist of fate before he does his finisher. It was a squash match, and like it is a knock. Like I'm gonna hold it against the show, but also it's kind of hard to because it's just TV limitations. But like, man, out of all the matches tonight, give this another 5 or 6 minutes. You
So
can have Ethan Page still have a dominant win here, but not have the match be 2 minutes.
see now, this is exactly I would have flipped the Nyla Rose Anna Jay in this match. The timing, like what happened in this match, is what should have happened in the other one. That's how I felt.
Yeah, I can respect that. And if I had to swap, like this match deserved to go longer.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does kind of suck. I think it also like this is supposed to be kind of like a big struggle, and oh, is Matt and Private Party going to get out? Or are they going to be stuck? Like what's going to happen? And they just kind of like no, they're not getting out of it. They've lost. So I'm interested to see where we go from here. Speaking of, the Roosh and Jose and I guess they're part of the firm now, so never mind. My point's invalid.
Yeah.
The firm owns them now. So no, carry on. Great segment, great match, but man, if I would have loved to have seen these guys go for like 10 to 15 as opposed to like 2.
Absolutely. All right, so next up we had the best friends and Orange Cassidy sitting on the stairs. They, we start off with Orange Cassidy saying, "Hey boys, I won this." Dude, I laughed so hard when he said that. I missed what they said next. All I could gather was they challenged the Death Triangle.
So yeah, they challenged Death Triangle Tuesday on Dynamite for the Trios Championship. Jeff, I'm just letting you know, if I swear to fucking God, if best friends win the Trios Championship. Oh my God, I'm gonna lose my mind. That would be fucking incredible. Orange Cassidy, so they're like, yeah, like Cassidy won gold. Why don't all the best friends get some gold? Challenge Death Triangle. And I'm like, yes. And they're like, all right, guys, hands in on Tuesday on Dynamite. We're gonna kick ass. And Orange Cassidy's like, wait, Dynamite's on Tuesday this week? I didn't fucking know that. It's like, love it. I love Orange Cassidy to the fucking moon and back. I love these guys. Best friends are just the best. They really are just the best.
Dude, and I can't tell you how lucky I was finding this Orange Cassidy just chilling at a Walmart one day. They're like sold out everywhere, can't even find one.
Yeah, you text me, you're like, should I get it? I'm like, what do you mean? What kind of question is that?
Because I knew you were gonna say, yeah, of course. I got all of them. I have everybody. I got Statlander, Trent, Chuck, and Orange Cassidy.
I would love it if Orange Cassidy has 2 belts. Could you
Oh man,
imagine?
I'm telling you, there's a little dissension kind of going there in the Death Triangle with Pac kind of being a bad guy. You know what I mean? We might see something happen.
I completely agree with you. Actually, I think it's very interesting that they're doing this match. It seems very much like it's going in that direction, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
And remember, the Elite are supposed to be the champs right now, so this was possibly a temporary thing,
Yeah, I don't know.
I would love it to see the best friends as trios champs. It would be really nice for Chuck and Trent, of course, to get some gold.
Yeah, and so I'm curious to see if Orange Cassidy is going to do this like on TV, but apparently he was carrying his title around in a backpack. After he won the title on Wednesday, he put the title in a book bag and was like carrying the book bag to the back. And on Twitter, I think he said something like, "I'm going to be carrying my title. I have my title with me. It's in my book bag." Like, please.
Oh
Please
man,
let Orange Cassidy come out with a book bag. And then he opens up the book bag and there's the title. And I'm like, come on. I
I'm
love
gonna
it.
laugh if like one episode if he's like walking around to everybody like, "Hey, have you seen my backpack?" Like he fucking lost it.
um yeah, man. Best friends on Tuesday. That could
Oh,
be
that's gonna be a big time match. I'm gonna be pumped for that one.
Mhm.
All right, next up was time for the main events. We had FTR and Shawn Spears, the return of the Pinnacle, possibly for one night only. We shall see. Versus the Empire, we had Toa Leona, Bishop Khan, and the Machine, Brian Cage. And I don't know if they've been calling Khan Bishop Khan for a while now, but that was the first time I noticed it, that they gave him a first name, and they said it multiple times, so that was really cool. Like seeing him get his, full name out there.
I think they've been doing that.
Have
I
they?
think.
Okay.
I think so. Not 100% on that, but I
Like
think so.
I feel like they have, I just don't remember, so I couldn't say one way or the other.
Yeah.
All right, so it has been 150 days since Shawn Spears was in the ring. This was a fantastic match. I didn't see any ring rust from Spears at all. He did the 10 thing. He got the crowd to do 10, 10, 10, you know what I mean? Really, really solidifies my belief that we're seeing 10 leave the Dark Order and going over there to Jose.
So here's my question to you, right? Because you've been saying this for weeks,
I know.
and I'm not saying you're wrong in terms of 10 leaving the Dark Order, but why is it that Shawn Spears using an old gimmick in a completely unrelated story leads you to believe that 10 is leaving the Dark Order? Like, I'm not disagreeing with you that 10's leaving the Dark Order,
Yeah.
but it's like you're doing the test and you got the right answer, but you're not showing the correct work.
I see what you're saying. So what I'm seeing here, though, is that 10 from the Dark Order, he does the 10 thing. When he gets amped up, he does it to the crowd. You absolutely cannot have two guys that are doing that on the same show.
Okay, I mean maybe. Oh, so
You
you're
can't.
saying that it's a byproduct of it happening, not
Yes,
necessarily.
yes. I'm saying they're taking that away from 10, which is almost solidifying my belief that he's leaving.
Okay.
You see what I mean there? I just don't think you can have two guys that do that on the same show that aren't in any way connected to each other.
Perhaps.
But I could be completely wrong. You know what I mean? It's just something that's I noticed.
That's the weird thing with Stu coming back, is that it almost doesn't seem like it makes sense, but maybe that's the goal. They bring Stu back so they can shift 10 over, and then you
To fill the hole. Yep.
and that's your feud. Then and the Dark Order finally has a feud. That would be kind of crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
You know what? That's good. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's all I've been asking for, is for the Dark Order to do something meaningful outside of Hangman Page. So if they are, which seems like that would be the direction, I would be very happy with that.
I do want to point out one thing about the Dark Order segment from a little bit earlier. Them being in kind of sort of street clothes, it kind of like dulled them down a little bit. I really want to see them in their gear, like, you know, like the jacket that Silver's wearing in the figure that I got over here, and I think Reynolds has a really nice jacket like that too now. Like, it would have been nice to see them, like, you know, in that gear, just to kind of make a presence rather than, you know, I think John Silver was wearing a Halloween shirt, you know, Michael Myers shirt, like, come on.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just the Dark Order.
Yeah,
For me,
I know.
that's just the Dark Order. That's what they are. So
yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
what they should be on BTE though, not on Rampage.
Well, BT is on a hiatus right now, Jeff.
It
My
is. I know.
Mondays have not been the same without them.
All right, so back to the match here. We had a really good match here. Dax started off. We had a big hot tag. Crowd. The hot tag was for Dax. I'm sorry. We had Shawn Spears start off. Huge hot tag to Dax. This crowd, man. This crowd was really good for a Rampage. I'm digging when they go to Canada. They can return there anytime, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah.
You know, big time FTR chants. The double sharpshooter from FTR, and then Shawn Spears joining in with the triple sharpshooter onto Prince Nana. All I could think of was you, though, at that moment. I was just like, oh no, Prince Nana. I was like, Rome must be devastated.
I was shouting. I was like, Prince Nana, get out of there. Get out. Go away. Run. So I wanted to share this, actually, and I think this is a great time to do it because you mentioned them being in Canada. So how you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing excellent, man. Awesome day of Phillies baseball. Great episode of Rampage.
So yeah, so the thing is, the funny thing about life is that life isn't perfect, as we all know. In life, we come across things that upset us, and it may really make us question the world, right? So I was on Twitter yesterday, and again, as most, a story that starts like this clearly can't be good. And so I'm scrolling through Twitter, and Tony Khan tweeted out about how he was very happy with AEW's first, foray into the international markets. He was very proud that their first international show went very well.
Yeah.
Somebody, a Fed drone, quote tweeted it and said, "Oh, so we're just gonna act like Canada is international now?" And I was like, "Sir, do you know what international? Jeff, do you know what international means?"
Yeah, it means from one nation to another.
Is Canada the same nation? as the United States of America?
The last time I checked, I do not believe so.
People wonder why. People wonder why I get so upset after being on Twitter. People wonder why. And it's things like this that drive me to the brink of insanity.
Imagine thinking Canada is international.
But again, it's just, and like the thing is, like, I don't even know if the person's that stupid or they just look for reasons to shit on AEW. It's crazy to me. Like, because here's what happens, right? People like me, we shit on WWE because number one, lifelong fans, and we know what a good WWE looks like and what a bad WWE looks like, and we also pay attention to the backstage shit as well. So, like WWE fans, they see actual smart fans critiquing the company, saying like, well, this company, they're doing this and they're doing this and they're doing this, and then like they feel left out, so they feel the need to just reach for things. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, international, that's not international. It is international. It is.
It's like intercontinental is what you're thinking of, dummy. It's not intercontinental, but that's neither here nor there.
Anyways, yeah, that was just the story I wanted to tell about my adventures on Twitter.
That's hilarious, dude. Yeah, we'll just, yeah.
I'll say this. I will end the story with this. People in the Discord and people that listen and watch here on the Broken Tables podcast, for the sake of me being an informed individual, I don't think anyone really understands what I encounter. Not on a weekly basis, but on a daily basis. It is fucking awful. And people wonder, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll text you and be like, yeah, man, my mental health's just kind of fucking in the shitter today. This sucks. Not having a good time. It's like, well, that's why. That is why.
Dude.
Because I have to deal with shit like that for the sake of sitting here on YouTube.com and having an informed opinion. That's
I try to stay off the Twitter as much as I can, man. The some of the voices that are out there are just loud and obnoxious. That's all I can say.
It's just it's not good. But I do it for you guys. I do it so that way you don't have to.
Yeah,
like I'm trying to be
I appreciate it.
I'm giving a service. That's the way I kind of look at it. Like I'm doing my duty. If I can help one person, then I've done it. Then I've succeeded. I've won. But anyways, this main event was good. It was a good fun.
Yeah,
match.
this was great. Toa Leona, the big Samoan, goes crazy. Everybody winds up outside the ring. He goes to smash Dax up against the stairs, but Cash pulls him out of the way. Toa just annihilates those stairs, basically KOs himself for the rest of the match. The crowd started chanting, "We want tables," so thank you, Canada. I wanted some tables here too, but we didn't get any. Shawn Spears comes in, hits the C4 for the win, gets a really huge pop from the Canadian crowd. And what do we get afterwards during the celebration but Maria Kanellis, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett, the Kingdom, showing up.
Which, firstly, I might need to consult with Smart Mark Sterling for gimmick infringement. I am technically currently considering, weighing my options, in case you were wondering.
All right. I'll have to we'll have to give him the relevant documents if he should so need them.
Yes. But anyways, yes. So the Kingdom debuts on AEW.
Yeah, Maria Kanellis, the first lady of professional wrestling. I have not seen her in a while. This was nice. Obviously more Ring of Honor stuff. Pretty sure they're going to be there for Ring of Honor because she kind of said we were the Ring of Honor champions first. We built that company on our backs, which I do believe they were a big part of that company. I believe Maria was a huge part of the women's division there, so that should be a nice boost to the women's division here as well, and it should be cool.
Yeah, I think that for me the biggest part of the signing is the Maria Kanellis. Yeah. I do like Maria. I think she's pretty good.
She's great on the mic.
She's very good on the mic. It's kind of crazy, she's one of those those people that you've seen kind of start on Raw as an extra and then turns, in 2004 she's an extra on Raw and now she's commanding a microphone. So I think
Yeah.
it's a really cool thing to see. I don't really care for in terms of in-ring really like Mike Bennett, or I haven't seen enough of Matt Taven. I don't think they're bad. I mean, I don't really care for them. I'm in the middle. I'm 50 on it. Where it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I mean, it's more talent for Ring of Honor, so that's good. Maria for me is the shining spot of this signing. But I mean, they're building up a Ring of Honor brand. You need it. And also there were reports last week that Hunter was looking to sign these guys. So again, it's kind of the climate, and I can't blame Tony for signing up some talent. I mean, I can't hold him against it because I know what Hunter is going to do over there. He's going to try and sign all these people, and he's going to hoard the talent. And next thing you know, Hit Row, you're like Hit Row. Excuse me, geez, you're like Hit Row. Getting squashed out. Like what was it, 2 weeks after your debut?
Yeah. Now, so let's talk about something here, because after Ryan mentioned that this whole episode was like a pilot episode for Ring of Honor,
Sure.
something's really hitting me here, and I know you're gonna think it's kind of crazy and probably not gonna happen, but what if we get Rampage just turning into the Ring of Honor show, and we get a 3-hour Dynamite? Because they've said they want more wrestling, so another full show is the option, or adding an hour to Dynamite, right? Or adding an hour to Rampage, possibly. But this really made me think, like, what if Rampage just turns into the Ring of Honor show?
So I'll say this. Number one, 3 hours of a 3 hour wrestling show weekly is fucking awful. Um, and so here's the thing, right? Like, there are a lot of things that I don't like about WWE, both the product and backstage. But one thing that I can't blame on Hunter is the fact that a 3 hour Monday Night Raw is not an easy show to make. Even when I was watching the product and enjoying it slightly, like 3 hours is a lot. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot.
I gotta
So
say, though, like, how many
I would
times have
say,
we... Oh, sorry,
sorry.
go ahead.
So I would say that another thing also, Tony Khan has said in the past that he doesn't want Dynamite to be 3 hours. So we wouldn't see it be 3 hours anyway. But no, I think that I think the future is Elevation, Dark, Dynamite, Ring of Honor, Rampage. I think that's honestly the future. I think that's the plan. I think that okay, here's my like what I really think is going to happen. I think they are going to do Ring of Honor tapings in a similar fashion that um they tape Dark at the old Impact Zone at Universal. I think Ring of Honor takes that spot. I
Okay.
think they do like every month they go in, they tape like 4 hours of TV. Um and then maybe they do specials where they travel. You know what I mean? Then you have Dynamite and Rampage as separate shows. Dynamite has Elevation taped with it. Rampage has Dark taped with it. And then there you go. You have you have technically 5 shows a week, which is a lot. But that's the nice thing about AEW is that you can kind of pick and choose. Like if you don't want to watch Ring of Honor, you don't have to. I mean, I think it all ties in really well where it's like if you watch all the shows, you're going to be more rewarded for doing it.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I think Tony Khan, his biggest problem is that he doesn't have enough TV time. So you kind of need to maximize your time. And I think you get this Ring of Honor deal and you split up Dynamite and Rampage, and then there you go. You like I don't think you should keep Rampage as 1 hour. I would still argue go 2 hours with it. Do a 2 hour dark. Do a 2 hour dark, 2 hour Rampage, and then a 2 hour Dynamite, and maybe an hour 45 for Elevation, something in that ballpark. And then that way you're gonna get all your talent on TV. Um, Actually, on second thought, I don't know if I would go 2 hours for Dark and Elevation, but I don't know. I think that it makes sense to do it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I agree too, but what I was going to get at a second ago here, I have been left after Dynamite wanting more tons of times. There have been multiple episodes of Dynamite that I'm just like, it's already over. I'm like, no way, that was 2 hours. So, I might just be being greedy, you know what I mean? But it really kind of made me think tonight with all this Ring of Honor activity and the whole show felt circled around it. And then Ryan making that point, it felt like, what if Rampage just turns into Ring of Honor? That would actually be, I would be okay with it. You know what I mean?
So my rebuttal to that, where you're left wanting more is, well, Jeff, that is the byproduct of a well-booked
Yeah.
wrestling show. Is
Yeah.
that, like, do you remember, like, I remember Monday Night Raw 20 years ago, and at the end of every Raw being like, holy shit, I can't wait to see more. And Dynamite is the exact same thing, where it's just like, that's what a well booked show looks like. It leaves you wanting more. You
Yeah.
got 2 hours of wrestling, you got great content, but you still want more, and that makes you want to tune in for Rampage on Friday. And then Rampage leaves you wanting more. So then, and that's why it's really smart that Dark and Elevation are on Monday and Tuesday, because Rampage, you get through the weekend and you really want some AEW wrestling after a great Rampage on Friday. And you're like, all right, well, Dark and Elevation are on, so I'm going to check it out. And then it ends up being pretty damn good, actually, for what it is.
Yeah.
And then Dynamite's there again. But that's by design. They want you to feel that way. You shouldn't be tired after a show. Like,
I
not on a
got you.
weekly
Yeah,
basis.
I see.
If you're sitting there at the end of a 3-hour wrestling show and you're just like, ugh, all right, I've gotten enough, I'm done, then, like, you're not going to want to come back for Friday. At least you're not thinking about it then and there.
Yeah, true. And I did forget to mention at the end of the Maria Kanellis segment, the embassy started attacking FTR and Shawn Spears. Warjo come out for the save. I had a tiny bit of a problem with this, but then when I go back and think about who Wardlow and Samoa Joe are, it does make a little bit of sense. It was basically 2-on-6 with Wardlow and Samoa Joe, because FTR and Shawn Spears got annihilated. And all 6 dudes kind of ran away from, Wardlow and Samoa Joe. And at first I was like, oh, come on. But, over these past few months, we've built Wardlow up as an absolute monster. He's destroyed like 10,000 security guards. So in that aspect, it kind of made sense. But, seeing those 3 giant muscle dudes jump out of the ring against 2 guys is just a little awkward.
Yeah,
But,
it was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. It wasn't too much to harp on, Excellent episode of Rampage. This was fantastic. I really enjoyed the whole Ring of Honor theme to basically the entire show. I keep seeing a lot of people saying like, oh, that's a reason why I'm not watching, is because it's basically all Ring of Honor stuff. And I'm like, why does that even matter to you? You know what I mean? Like, if they said Ring of Honor or AEW, it's the same. I mean, that's kind of dumb to say. It's not the same, but we would have got the same match whether it was labeled AEW or Ring of Honor here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get why somebody would say they don't want to watch it just because of that.
Jeff, it's because those people aren't watching it regardless. It's this weird stigma.
Yeah, I agree.
I watch WWE, so therefore nothing else can exist. It all needs to go away. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, I'm sorry. Go fuck yourself. If you sit in your bubble and you watch WWE and you've never watched AEW and you choose to shit on it, here's the thing. And as I've said before, do I shit on WWE? Absolutely. I watched WWE for over 2 decades. I even to this day, I try to stay in the know on things so that way I'm not making incorrect statements. We are not the same. The person that is not watching AEW and just shitting on the product because they're a WWE drone, we're not the same. So
yeah,
go fuck yourself.
All right. Well, on that note, I want to go back to the Phillies for a moment here, and I want to tell you something kind of funny that you might enjoy here. Mm-hmm. So JD is a big Atlanta Braves fan, right? So after game 1, he was like, "I'm not even watching game 2. Not even gonna watch it. I'm done. I'm done. They look terrible. What kind of a fan, after losing one playoff game, is like, I'm not even watching my team anymore? And then they come back and win game 2, right? So he gets what he deserves right there for not watching game 2 and seeing them win. And then I guarantee you he watched tonight's game. Guarantee you he watched it. And you know what? He got what he deserved again, man. That's what you get when you try to be a fan like that, dude. Like, I can't stand when people do that to their own team. I'll watch my team till the last game, even if they're shitty.
Absolutely. Like, again, I don't care if they're the worst team in the league. Like, it's the Eagles, right? Like, I've been to Eagles games where like they get blown out, and everyone's still there. Like, some people leave because traffic's a nightmare, but like generally speaking, like people fucking stay. Like, and I stay. I stay till the very end of a game. Like, it was funny because so the Phillies were up 9-1 tonight in the 9th inning, right? And my wife calls me and she's upstairs and she's like, "Dinner's ready." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll be right up. I want to see the end of the game." She's like, "Aren't they up 9-1?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's
That
like,
doesn't
"Okay,
mean shit.
it's one inning. You don't need to watch the last inning." And I was like, "But I do. But I really, really do." Yeah, man. Again, it's just something that I really love about Philadelphia is that we just fucking care. We care so much, and again, like that's why like that's why I love AEW. I love AEW, and like this is the Philly fan in me, where it's just like just passion. I just fucking love this beautiful thing. It's just incredible.
You know,
Um,
some of the Philly fans got like a bad reputation for some crazy shit that happened back in the day with like Santa and stuff, you know. I had some friends ask me, they're like, "Dude, is it true like if you come in a different jersey, like you're gonna get beat up at the Eagles games?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "I wore a Steelers jersey to an Eagles game. Nobody gave a shit. What do you mean?" Like,
yeah. The only time, so here's the misconception, right? Here is the misconception that people don't understand, because in today's world, you start recording a video and people act like everything that happened before the video never fucking happened. So
yeah.
here's what happens when you go to an Eagles game, right? And really any sport. And I've seen it happen. And
Mm-hmm.
this is what happens like 99.9% of the time, is that fan of other team comes to the game. Fan of other team heckles all the fans surrounding him. Then, because Mama didn't raise no bitch, Eagles and Phillies fans and Flyers fans and Sixers fans, they're gonna chirp back. If you start shit with a Philly fan, whether they might not fight you. Like me, I'm not a fighter. Like I won't swing at you, but I'm going to curse you out. I'm going to say something. I was like, all right, well,
I
you're a
mean,
Cowboys fan, and the Cowboys haven't won a playoff game in my cognizant lifetime.
and
So
it is one of those things you have to be aware of. Like, you are still in Philly. If you're gonna talk shit and you're gonna be surrounded by like 20, I mean, technically it's like 20,000, but 20 people in your immediate vicinity are from Philly, one of them's probably gonna want to punch you. Like, one of them's probably gonna want to punch you. So
I remember my most recent experience with I guess not its most recent, because I went to an Eagles game last year. Oh, actually, you know what? No, I didn't, because the pandemic was still kind of winding down. So my last sports experience, which again it was funny, was it was a Phillies game against the Braves,
oh,
and
nice.
this was like right before the pandemic. Um, the I was sitting next to a Brave, or like somewhat next to a Braves fan, and the Braves fan is like standing up doing the thing and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
and like he's doing it at a weird time. He's the only one there doing it, and then so like kind of similar to what happened at the AEW show that we went to in Philly, where the guy behind him was like, "Yo, sit down." Like there's like, if like just stop doing that, sit down. And then the guy was like, "Well, no, I'm going to keep doing it." Oh. And so because they're the Atlanta Braves, he started shitting on Matt Ryan, the Atlanta Falcons quarterback. And he's like, "And that pussy Matt Ryan, he's a pussy from Delco." I was dying. It was
Wait, the
hilarious.
Braves fan was saying that?
No, the Phillies fan
Okay.
behind the Braves fan, because the Braves fan was starting shit. Like
Okay.
he was standing there and blocking the way, and then he started like turning around, being like, "Oh, the Phillies suck. They haven't won anything in like a decade." And then the guy was like, "Oh yeah, that you're a Falcons fan. That pussy Matt Ryan, he's a pussy from Delco. He's like, he's not really from here. He's from Delco.
That's actually pretty funny.
Oh, Delco being Delaware County for those.
Yep.
Yeah, just so people don't know. But yeah, I'm very happy with the Phillies, and I'm very happy that JD is probably having a fucking awful time. He's a complete clout chaser, just not respectable at all.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, consistency, my guy.
Yeah,
Consistency.
absolutely. All right, so that was a great episode of Rampage tonight. Do you have what we know so far about Dynamite?
Yes, I do. All right, coming up on a special Tuesday edition of AEW Dynamite, for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, Jon Moxley will defend his championship against Hangman Adam Page, aka the coach's new favorite wrestler. We will hear from MJF. Chris Jericho will defend his Ring of Honor World Championship against Dalton Castle. The AEW Interim Women's World Championship will be on the line as Toni Storm defends against Hikaru Shida. Renee Paquette will have a sit-down interview with Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta. The AEW World Trios Championship will be on the line where Death Triangle defends against Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends. Set for Rampage, we have Dark Order's 10 versus Roosh. And we have Hook defending his FTW championship against Ari Daivari.
Nice. Those should be some good matches. Love me some Hook, man.
Yep. Very, very exciting. Very, very big week for AEW coming up. Hopefully a very big weekend for Philadelphia sports.
Dude.
And the Flyers are undefeated. We didn't even talk about that. The fucking Flyers come out, crush the Jersey Devils, and I'm like, oh, okay.
You got an in for tickets by any chance? I'm trying to go see that Flyers game tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
It's at 4.
I would love to go, but again, the Phillies might clinch this series here.
Oh, that's right. That's tomorrow.
Yeah, my dad's coming over. We're gonna watch the game together.
I think those are going to be at somewhat the same time. It's going to be a zoo down there.
It starts at 2. Oh my god, yeah, they're both home games. That's gonna be fucking nuts.
That's gonna be crazy.
I would not go tomorrow, Jeff. If you can hold off on going.
Yeah. I probably can't.
Although I'd be interested. Hit me up. I think the wife and I would love to go to a Flyers game.
Yeah, sometime coming up soon for sure. Because
definitely,
maybe all 4 of us.
Yeah, I think that would be great. I think that sounds good.
All right, man. Well, I think that's gonna do it for tonight. You want to go ahead and close us out?
Absolutely. All right. Well, this has been episode 81 of the Broken Tables podcast. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let us know what you thought about all the stuff we talked about tonight. Thank you to everyone who was here live hanging out with us. Thank you to everyone who's not here live. Everyone listening to us in the future. Shout out to the coach. Oh, it's Friday, though. Coach should be here. Oh, that's weird. Coach is not here, but I'm sure he'll be listening in the future. Shout out to the coach. But thank you to everyone who listens to us post live. This is our Friday Rampage show, so it is exclusive here on youtube.com/the Broken Tables podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Broken Table Show or on Facebook and Instagram at the Broken Tables podcast. We go live on YouTube following every single AEW Dynamite, Rampage, and even pay-per-views. Just a reminder, Dynamite is on Tuesday this week, so that means we're going to get Dark at 7 and then Dynamite at 8. I just thought about it. That's going to be good. Well, I think it'll be. Yeah, I assume we would still get Dark. Huh.
I don't know what they're going to do there. That's an interesting one.
Maybe they do like a special Dark on Wednesday or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to keep it in mind. But until Tuesday, thanks everyone for hanging out. Be sure again to like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord, follow us on Twitter, do all that good stuff. Go Phils, go Birds, and everybody have a great weekend unless you are an Atlanta Braves fan or a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Oh, yeah, fuck the Cowboys. And on that note, top guys out. Mark Sterling can't sue us.